right, let's talk about the pinch pick, or what some people refer to as a squealie or a pinch harmonic. So this idea is basically a all technique bit. It's all with the picking hand, and it's really all with the thumb and the pick. And I'm going to show you how to do this. And it's if you've tried this before and did not find that you were able to do this, this lesson is going to help you with this. Okay. So basically, the idea is that we're coming up with this particular sound. That very high sing-songy type of talking tone. And we're doing this because what's happening is the string that we're hitting is actually resonating, vibrating, but before it actually has a chance to start resonating, it grazes our thumb and it produces a false harmonic. We call it a false harmonic. It's an actual harmonic, but the idea of harmonics, like we've talked about before, like basically there are little magical places, if you will, or mathematical places on the string that if you're picking the string and you're touching it at the same time but not actually fretting a note, but you're just like barely touching the string, you will get a chime because of the natural occurrences of the physics of sound and that sort of thing. For instance, watch what happens when I pick the string and pull my hand across it, not fretting anything but just barely touching it. So we have all these different harmonics that start coming out. Depending on where it is that you're touching the string at that moment, you're going to get a different chime. Okay? So for this particular technique, though, we're not using the fretting hand, we're using the picking hand. Okay? Now, in order to do this, to get this sound out, I want you to only practice on the three lowest strings. So practice on E, A, and D, preferably E and A. Because the thicker strings are much more forgiving when it comes to this sound, and they have a larger vibrational field. So you know, a thin string, when you hit it, it's moving very fast and in a very small area. But a big string is going over a larger area. It's a larger wave that it's creating, sound wave. So the larger strings are going to produce an easier false harmonic. The other thing I want you to do is I want you to think lower on the fretboard instead of higher. Again, the higher pitched sounds are harder to get a harmonic out of, so you want to prefer to be down here. Okay. Now, I also added some vibrato and bends into this, but and I may do that just because it sounds really good. It's almost a natural occurrence for me, or reaction for me to do that. But you don't have to do that. You can actually just pick a false harmonic. But how much nicer when you do this? It has a really nice scream, right? So, the idea is this. You're going to take your pick. When you pick the string, you're going to let that string barely touch your thumb, okay? It could be any part of your hand, really, for that matter. You can do anything. But I want you to specifically allow it to graze your knuckle right here on your thumb, okay? And you can just practice this by doing it over and over again. Another thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you have a good amount of distortion or overdrive on your amplifier or your pedal setup, because if you have a clean sound, you're not going to get the same effect. So here's a pinch harmonic without the distortion. not quite the same as this. Right? Much different. So, very important that you've got some gain happening on your instrument or in your setup, okay? And then again, practicing on the lower strings, practicing in the lower frets. And to start off, just pick, and when you're picking, push through, like almost, instead of picking down towards the ground, pick a little bit towards the center of the guitar, like pressing down. That's what you're doing, pressing down. And allowing that string to pop up and knock your thumb. Now what's going to happen in the beginning a lot is it's going to probably sound a little bit like this. That means that you're not pulling your finger away. Okay, you're killing the string. You're allowing it. You want to just nip it. You just want to just barely touch it. Don't kill it. You can hear it was there, but it went away because I muted it. So if I lifted my finger up right away, it'll ring out. So the second you can feel that string hit your finger, lift your hand up. You don't have to lift it up super far, but you do need to lift it up very quickly, okay? Just right off of the string. Be very observant. I've talked to you about this before. Be very observant, okay, with your ears and your eyes and your hand as you're playing this, as you're doing these sorts of things. You will, if you've got distortion going through your guitar, preferably humbucker pickups. If you're using like a Strat, unless you've got a lot of distortion going through it, you're probably not going to get a false harmonic out quite as easy. So there are some tricks there. Humbucker pickup, meaning the big pickup, not the thin single coil pickups. Make sure you've got a lot of distortion going. Make sure your volume's up. Preferably the bridge pickup as opposed to the neck pickup. That's going to help. Lower strings, lower frets, and just sit there and work it. And you also might want to work down the string like this. This way you can hear the different sounds. But at first, if you're sticking in one place, just keep doing it, observe, and that string should be just nicking your finger. If it's doing anything more than that, you're going to be killing the harmonic, and that's not what you want to do. You want it just like a regular harmonic. As soon as you play it, you lift your finger up because it's very volatile. Once you can learn that volatility of it, you're going to be doing this, and you're going to be doing it with some bends and some vibrato and what have you. It's going to sound absolutely amazing. It's really cool to add to solos and that sort of thing, especially when you're trying to emphasize a note. If you want to listen to a player who's really mastered this and is absolutely the king at it, listen to Zakk Wylde, the guitar player for the Black Label Society and also Ozzy Osbourne. Absolutely fantastic player, and pinch harmonics for days. The guy's always throwing them in there, especially on the lower notes, but he really has mastered this. So check him out on YouTube or wherever, and you're going to hear some great pinch harmonics. Take this slowly. You will get this. Make sure you're doing all the bits and pieces. If you leave any of that out, you're going to be frustrated and you're trying to come up with something that you're not going to be able to come up with. You heard my pinch harmonics when I turned the distortion off. Nothing there. If I picked up a Stratocaster, and played through it, it would probably be similar, although not as bad as turning off my distortion. If I tried it on a higher string, same thing. Make sure you have all the variables in place, then try this. I promise you're going to get it, and you're going to write me, and you're going to say, that's amazing, I love doing this. All right, let's keep going.